Good morning, beloveds. So it is still below freezing. I'm not sure if it got above freezing yesterday or not. It may have reached 32, but I don't think so. I think it only got up to 31. But it only got down into the 20s last night. So Foster seems much happier this morning. And I'm not going anywhere until I leave for the Christmas Eve service. So I promised him I'd stay with him today. That seems to make him happy. I don't know. He's a cat. What do I know? All right. But it's Christmas Eve, which means it is December 24th. Our title is, I Create My World. Our first quote is, and I say unto you, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find it. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Luke 11:9. We use the power of the universal mind every time we think. Science of Mind, page 93. The kingdom of God is within me, and my outer world is an expression of it. All good things are possible in my world. As I bring my will into alignment with God's will, my world comes into perfect form. I go busily about the business of creation today. I am building my world. I start where I am. If I don't like my world the way it is, I build a better one. I clear my consciousness of all negative and imperfect thoughts, feelings, and attitudes. I dissolve all unworthy desires and unwholesome habits. As I establish dominion over myself, I automatically have dominion over my world. I am my consciousness. My consciousness is my world. Therefore, I am my world. My world is an expression of me. If I don't like my world, I must change myself. As I change my inner self into the image and likeness of God as I was created, my world becomes the kingdom of God on earth. As I become aware of the infinite potential within me, I see the limitless possibilities of my world. I plant the earthly garden with the seeds of mighty endeavor. I cultivate worthy qualities. I align myself with noble purposes and ideas. I invest my God-given talents in projects which bring great dividends to all people. I walk with God in all my daily activities. I look out upon my world and see that it is good. I give thanks for my wondrous world. And it is D.C. Donald Curtis. The title is I Create My World. And here's the interesting thing. If you do some digging, both in psychology and in quantum, we literally do live in our own world. All right? Because our world, and nobody else lives in our world. And that's what I mean by quantum physics. And what I mean by that is our world is created by our perceptions, which means we have a whole lot of control over our world. All right. Not complete and total control over the world, because we are in relationship with other people. And there are going to be things that are going to happen, that we have no control over. We're going to see things. But a large part of the world that we live in is our own creation, which can be very startling and unnerving to think about. When you think about the world that you live in, you create by the consciousness that you carry around. And that's why when he was talking about it, he was leaning into aligning with. The more time that we spend aligning with the God qualities, the good qualities, the noble purposes, whatever else he said, the more good that we create in our world. The more of the, and I'm going to use the word non-preferred, that we, habits and things that we do that we are willing to let go of. And let me remind you what psychology says about a habit. You replace a habit. It's like you don't get rid of a habit, you replace a habit. So if you have an unhealthy habit, you replace it with a healthy habit. The more of that we're willing to let go of, then it changes our perceptions. And as our perceptions change, then our world changes, and we literally live in a better world. And as each person becomes more aware of that and takes more, I don't want to use the word control, responsibility would be a good one, takes more responsibility for their world, their perceptions of the world. And then here's where I'm going to lean into what Emma says. The world is going to persist in showing you what you believe it is. So if you believe that the world is overall good, then the world is going to show you overall good. And if you believe that the world is overall negative, then the world's going to show you that. And so that's what Donald Curtis is talking about. It's like, you are responsible for the way that you see the world. Now, you have been shaped. You have been shaped. You have been shaped by your parents and your partners and your friends and society and culture and religion. And so it's very beneficial to be aware of all of the things that have shaped you, shaped your perceptions, because that has shaped your world. But once you hit a certain level, because I'm not going to say age, a certain level of consciousness, you become aware of the fact that you have the most influence on your world. And so you can start to push back on all of the things that, your parents have told you, your partners have told you, your friends have told you, society, culture, and religion. You can push back on those. And you can literally change your world. Literally change your world. Because your world is made up of your perceptions. And once you start to shift that, then the material world shifts around you. And that is just really, and that's why I said it's partly psychology and partly quantum. It's partly quantum physics. The world is going to shift around you. And you literally change your world. And it's like the most amazing superpower that each and every one of us have. Each and every one of us have. To literally create our world through our perceptions. And that's why he says, lean into the worthy habits, align with the God qualities. What was it that he exactly said? Because that's how we do it. That's how we create an amazing world for ourselves. And as we create that amazing world for ourselves, when you meet happy people, you feel good, right? When people meet you and you are happy, they feel good. So without you doing anything more than being your authentic self, you have made the world better for all of the people that have encountered you. That's how we work to making a world that works for everybody, by doing the work on ourselves. Because by doing the work on ourselves, we help the people around us, doing nothing more than being our authentic selves, being our authentic godling selves. I am my consciousness is my world, therefore I am my world. My world is an expression of me. If I don't like my world, I must change myself. You don't go change the world. You change yourself. As I change my inner self to the image and likeness of God, as I was created. So we were all created in the image and likeness of God. So we are aligning with how we were created in the first place. My world becomes the kingdom of God on earth. Okay, so let me go back a paragraph. I go busily about the business of creation today. I am building my world. I start where I am. If I don't like my world the way it is, my world, okay, the way it is, I build a better one. I clear my consciousness of all negative, imperfect thoughts, feelings, and attitude, I dissolve all unworthy desires and unwholesome habits. As I establish dominion over myself, I automatically have dominion over my world. Because the world that we live in is a world of perception. Yes, it is a material reality, but it is how we perceive that material reality that has the greatest impact on our world. That's what Donald Curtis is talking about today. If you want to change the world, you start with yourself. There's a very famous quote from Rumi. Actually, there are several quotes from Rumi about that. If you want to change the world, change yourself. And it was like, when I was, one of my favorites from Rumi is, when I was young, I set out to change the world. As I grew wiser, I learned that to change the world, I had to change myself. So it's wisdom that comes with age, that comes with working the process, working the program, becoming more fully who we are in ourselves, activating the Christ consciousness that we were created with. The password is love. It literally changes our world, and then it literally changes the world. And again, I'm going to give you that reminder. When you meet happy people, how do they feel? How do they make you feel? That's the gift that you can give the world. And it doesn't mean you have to be a happy 100% of the time. It also means that you can be quiet, you can be meditative, you can be non-threatening. You know what I mean by that. It doesn't mean you have to be, throw yourself around the room joyous all of the time. Because quiet people, meditative people, thoughtful people, mindful people, all of those people, when we rub up against them, our world feels good. So, be who you are. Be authentically who you are. You on a mission today? Sure. That whole thing is just one. But what I love about it is, he gives you, it's like, here, let me give you this gift. You create your world, which is it is an unsettling gift. I get it. Until you recognize your creative power. And then, and that's what I love about it. He says, let me give you this, yes, incredibly unsettling gift, but let me tell you how to manage it. By managing yourself. By managing yourself. By knowing who you are. By letting go of all of the unworthy desires. By letting go of the, what did he say? If I don't like my world, I build a better one. I clear my consciousness of all negative and imperfect thoughts, feelings, and attitudes. And let me remind you, Reverend Jesse's definition of perfect is whole. So what is an imperfect thought? It's not a whole thought. So, when you're working on those imperfect thoughts, follow them out to their completion. Make them whole. Make them whole. That way it's not so overwhelming. All right. So I dissolve all unworthy desires and unwholesome habits. This is how you create a better world for yourself. It's pretty incredible that we can do that. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it? I'm going to use this line. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to go busily about the business of creation. Go busily about the business of creation. You are a co-creator. You have the power of creation right there in your hands. You create the world that you live in. So go back and take an inventory of your perceptions. Go back and take an inventory of your thoughts and your feelings and your wants and your desires and your needs, and see what is worthy, what could be worked on, what you can let go of. Do that inventory. The New Year's coming up. The New Year's an excellent time to do this kind of inventory. And why not start on Christmas Eve? Go busily about the business of creation. Remember that you create the world that you live in through your own perceptions. Work on that. Work on that. And you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. Trust me, all of us are doing it. And sometimes it's good when we get together. and do that kind of work together. All right, so that is the mission today, to go busily about the business of creation and take your inventory. As always, I do suggest the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. And it might be to take an inventory, to take a mental, emotional, physical, spiritual inventory, and see if there's some things that you're already doing really well that you can lean into, some things that aren't working and maybe you can tweak them, some things that it's just time to let them go, and that is loving, kind, and compassionate. Loving and kind and compassionate sometimes looks like hard work, but sometimes it looks like taking a nap, and sometimes it looks like taking some time for yourself, and sometimes it looks like making time out to cuddle with your fur babies. And sometimes it looks like eating dessert first. It is absolutely, loving kindness and compassion is absolutely about self-care. I make no bones about that. Self-care is extremely important. If you live a life of service, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You must take care of yourself first. Always. Because then you've got something to work with. But it's also about joy. It is also about joy. It is also about making sure that you find time in your day to be joyful, to make room for joy, to at least think about joy. Every day doesn't have to be joyful. But a little joy every day is a good thing. So it can look like calling a good friend. It can look like, having a cup of coffee or tea or whatever your beverage of choice is, and engaging all 5 of your senses. The point is to practice on yourself. As I like to say, you are your own best test subject. You will get immediate feedback. But you also deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. You are a beloved child of God. Therefore, you deserve it. And if you are going to make a better world, this is one of the ways to do it. Absolutely. All right. I also encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you today. I do encourage you to drink plenty of fluid, whatever that looks like today. It is still below freezing here, so warm is good, but we can get dehydrated easier in the winter than we do in the summer because we don't think about it. With the heat running all the time, just sucking all that. We don't have the humidity around us. So make sure that you drink plenty of fluids. And then, as I lose my train of thought. Oh, wow. You'd think in the cold I'd sleep really well, but yeah. If it's above 30, I'm fine. If below 30, I've got concerns. I probably am going to take a nap today. Loving, kind, compassionate, right? All right. There was the engage your mind and your body. There was drink plenty of fluids. There is get early. That's probably what I'm missing. I haven't gotten the early in my day bright light. Just go stand in the sunshine for a few minutes, even if it's freezing out there. Early in the day, bright light, reset those hormones. It's science. It's called a circadian rhythm. Please check it out. Because you will sleep better at night and have more energy during the day if you do get that early in your day bright light. It resets all of those hormones. All right. I'm not going to forget this one because I love this quote from Ernest Holmes. To open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. That is what Donald Curtis was talking about today. How do we create the kingdom of heaven? By being aware. By being aware of our perceptions. Well, Ernest says, open the windows of your soul. How do you do that? By being aware. That's one of the ways. But it's also reading sacred literature, listening to amazing music, watching things like this where we talk about this kind of stuff, connecting with a good friend, being aware of who you are and what your influences are and working on that. That's how you open the windows of your soul. But you can always take Emma's advice, look for the good and praise it. There is no better way to get to your soul than through love, through kindness, through goodness, through witnessing and doing good work. And I say witnessing good work because that makes you feel good too. So look for the good anywhere you find it and praise it. All right. Here is the social media part where I remind you we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. We are Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. You want to know what's going on with the center? Email info@creativelife.org. That will let you, that will get you on the constant contact. And when those hot links, which say click here, they will either take you right to the information you want or to the person that will get it for you. I will remind you, it is Christmas Eve. Therefore, we have a candlelight Christmas Eve service for you at the center tonight. It is early since it's Saturday. It's at 5:30. And you can come in person or it will be broadcast on Facebook Live. So if you're not in the area, you can still see it. It'll be fun. Our Christmas Eve services are always a whole lot of fun. I have no idea what the music is. I do know what the topics of the 4 speakers are going to be, so that'll be good. We divided up the nativity in interesting ways, so it will be fantastic. I commend it to you. All right, so that's what's going on with the center and all the other things. And we will have a Sunday service too, both on Facebook Live and in person. Yep. So here's where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanting day, a Christmas Eve, whatever that looks like to you. Does that mean brightly wrapped presents? Does that mean twinkly lights? Does that mean quiet? Does that mean raucous Christmas carols? Does that mean solitude? Does that mean a raucous gathering of people? You know, what kind of day do you want to have? And go make that happen day. A wonder-filled day, a merry day, a magical day. I may have already said that. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, and I know because it's the holidays, simply have a day because you are enough just as you are. As I will remind you every day, you are a beloved child of God. You are a brilliant light. You are a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. You are a godling in whom God is well pleased and well represented, always and forever. I will remind you that that is a state of grace. And the cool thing about a state of grace is it doesn't have to be earned. Really, honestly, it can't be earned because it is granted and it can't be taken away. Okay? That is who you are. Know that. Know that. I know that. I believe that. I have faith. And I will hold that space for you until you have faith yourself. All right? Part of my job. And it's part of my job that I love. So, let me remind you, Reverend David will probably do it early. He won't, I don't know what time. He could schedule it. I don't know. He's sneaky with the technology like that. But he'll be on around 5 today. It could be earlier, or it could be later. Who knows? I will be back with you at 9 a.m. Take care of yourself and know that you are loved.